Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Mridula Gauri. I'm a neuropsychiatrist practicing in my own clinic in Film Nagar. Today we'll talk about depression. Now the term depression is used very commonly nowadays, but it is actually a mental health disorder. Now how severe it is, how intense it is, depending on that, it can be classified into different types of depression or different intensities like mild, moderate, severe. Now I will explain few symptoms which commonly occur and which you can notice and take help. So there are different levels when we say a person is suffering from depression. So they can be episodic or it can be like a chronic condition, but that means it's there for a long time. So when you say an episode, to qualify as an episode, it has to be at least more than 2 weeks. So 2 weeks and beyond, only then we will call it as an episode. Once in a while feeling sad and then something happens in your life and you are sad, that doesn't really qualify to have the disorder. So what are the symptoms? Feeling sad, mood is low most of the time during the day or many days in a week, your mood is low. Even if people are around, you don't feel like talking. Things that you used to enjoy before, like going out with friends or watching a movie or even doing some activity which you used to enjoy before, you don't enjoy it anymore. Now, other than the mood and this, you also have a lot of physical symptoms. Like you feel fatigue, you can't take care of yourself. Sometimes even just taking a bath, very difficult thing for a patient who is depressed. You can have certain body pains, you can feel tension, headaches. All these are also physical symptoms of depression. Social symptoms will be, you'll be withdrawn from your friends, you might be irritable. Small things might trigger you to just snap, or you previously the things that never used to bother you start bothering you now. So these can be the symptoms. If anybody you know or yourself are experiencing these symptoms for like more than 2 weeks, then definitely you should take help. Sometimes there may be a trigger, like for example, a breakup or a death in the family or failure or any, loss of promotion at work or anything like this. Some trigger may be there. Sometimes without trigger also, there can be depression, what we call as endogenous depression. There is a genetic component also which you need to consider. Like for example, in the family, if your mother, father or aunt or anybody has suffered previously or is on medication or there is family history of suicide, then definitely it is an indication that you need to take help. Now these are all mild symptoms. They can be much more severe symptoms also. Most of the time patient comes saying, I'm forgetting things. I'm not as sharp as I was before. I'm not able to concentrate on what I'm doing. What is wrong with me? That is the question that anybody asks you. I was fine before. What is wrong with me now? So when you're having difficulty concentration, the forgetfulness is mostly because you're unable to concentrate then and your brain is not registering what is happening around you, and only when the brain registers, it can make it into your long-term memory and then you remember it. So when your concentration is not there, when your cognitions are not very good, then that is the reason you feel that you are forgetting things. Now other than this, you can always be sting of self-doubt. Like whether I'm doing correct or not, am I correct, am I doing correct, these kind of thoughts can be there. Previously, a confident person will not feel as confident as they were before. So these also can be there, which we call as cognitive symptoms. Now a little bit more severe, you are feeling very low. You start feeling negative, what we call as depressive ruminations, which are like you feel worthless, like whatever I do is not good enough. Whoever I am is not good enough. Usually the thing that we hear is like waste fellow, those kind of things. Because of this, future, you don't feel like it is very good, very negative, pessimistic thoughts you will get. Nothing is there in the future, your hope is lost, so that hopelessness will come. And then because of these two things, you'll feel helpless, that whatever I do, I am not able to get out of it. What should I do? How should I help myself? You keep thinking about these things and those thoughts keep going round and round and round in your head, and then these 3 triad is what we call, then it qualifies to be a little bit severe. Again, once in a while feeling hopeless, once in a while feeling helpless in certain situations is just reaction to the situation. It does not qualify actually to call a episode. Then more, there is a lot of guilt. There is a lot of guilt that is a symptom of depression. Now, this guilt can be for number of reasons. It can be just the smallest that I am not doing my things, I'm not able to get up, why, what is wrong with me, I'm doing something wrong, and then people around me are suffering because of me, I am sad like this, I am not talking to anybody, they know they are also suffering, especially children when parents are unhappy because I am unhappy, I'm trying my best, still my parents will be unhappy because I am like this, or your partner, whatever I do is not good enough. Those kind of guilt, and most importantly the mom guilt. When the mother is depressed and she's not able to take care of the child well, there is a lot of mom guilt that comes. So this guilt is also a symptom. Now, how severe it is, how intense it is, how long it is. These are the things that we see as medical professionals, as doctors, to actually make the diagnosis. Now, these being certain symptoms of depression, another severe form is when you have suicidal ideation. Suicidal ideation is different again from just wishing that it would end. I want this to end. So that is more we call as death wishes. That means the suffering is so bad that they want everything to end. Random thoughts like, today I wish like there is some flood or some earthquake or some things like that. Death wishes is what we call. Suicidal ideation is actually you start planning how I want to do it, where I want to do it, how to not let people around me know. Now, when this is there, 100% take help. There are a lot of helpline numbers available. There is a lot of information online. Wherever you can, please take help. And that is like a big signal, like a red flag for yourself to understand that yes, I need to take help now. So all these symptoms put together, depending on how severe they are, how long they are, we will diagnose them into different categories. Now, when you have mild symptoms of depression, they are just coming and going depending on your stressors, and you're able to manage them not that great or somehow. If only mild symptoms are there, then all your extra things like other than medical medicines like, improving your concentration, doing yoga, meditation, physical exercise, taking supplements, all these things will 100% work only when you have mild. But when you have little bit severe, even like a moderate depressive episode also, how much ever you try doing all these things, it is not going to help, and it is in fact going to make you feel bad about yourself that I'm trying so much. Every day I go, you do yoga, every day I go to gym, still I don't feel better. So that guilt comes that you are sad. So when this is happening, I would advise that you just go to a psychiatrist, get the diagnosis. Maybe they will put you on some kind of medication. We have a lot of medication that are which are safe. The side effects that the entire country is worried about. The side effects thing is more like, the effect of the medicine is much more valuable than the side effects. Because if you take the medication, you will get better. But because you have side effects, if you don't take the medication, 100% you will suffer. So that is the logic you need to apply when you actually take help, and why and when you need to take help. When you have severe episodes, then it is compulsory that medication has to be given. And also sometimes the severity is so bad that you might even have, start listening, like hearing voices also can be there when you have severe depression, derogatory voices telling you are bad and all those kind of things, what we call as severe with psychotic symptoms. At that time, 100% you have to take medication. Sometimes you will require admission. Sometimes you will require ECT, what we call as shock therapy in common language. So we have talked about a lot of different kinds of symptoms. Now, very important other physical symptoms that you need to think about is sleep. Usually, most commonly, like I said, forgetfulness is one thing, and the other thing, they come with sleep disturbance. If sleep is fine, I will be fine. This is the usual things that patients come up. But sleep also, it is in different categories. If you are waking up 1 or 2 hours before your usual time, then it is a symptom of depression. If you have difficulty falling asleep, then there are a lot of other things that can cause this. But if you are waking up 2 hours before or then 1 hour before, and then your thoughts start ki, why did this day start? Why did I wake up? Oh my God, I have to start my day again. And this fatigue that comes that 1-2 hours before, that is a very important symptom. They can also be extreme weight loss. also, because they won't feel like eating. Their appetite will be very less. You'll be like, I don't feel like eating. They don't enjoy what they are eating. Even if they are foodies before, they stop enjoying eating the food. So this is also an important symptom. So there is loss of appetite, loss of weight, disturbed sleep. These three also are included in the physical symptoms of depression. So what difficulties usually patient face? Like a person who is suffering from depression, by themselves, there will be three things that you need to consider. The person by themselves will be suffering a lot, that they are depressed, and for them to take help, it is a very difficult thing, because first thing what we will think is, why? I am not that weak-minded. I am strong. What is wrong with my life? Why should I feel depressed? This questioning of your emotions makes you feel bad that you are not enough, you are not good enough. Then that fight, that constant fight, that okay, I have everything, I am fine, I am strong mind, I am weak mind, this constant discussion that keeps happening in your mind is just going to slow down the process. Now this person to realize, yes, this is affecting my life, as it my functionality. It can be biological function, sleep, appetite, or it can be your social functioning, like meeting people, talking to your kids, talking to your friends, or it can be your occupational, like your work. All these things, if they are getting affected, then definitely you are depressed. So the person, for them to take help only, it is a big step. Now the second thing that can hinder is family and friends around. You don't have anything, this is nothing, commonly we hear depression kuch nahi hota. That thing is what, even the other thing also that parents say, when we were kids, one tight slap used to fix all depression. That is not the way it works. It has to be unlearned by a lot of parents and generations, and then relearn that this is actually a mental health issue. So again, they are discouraged. Yes, people around me also are not bothering. They are again discouraged to take help. And the next level that occurs, which is really bad and which we hope will go faster, is when they go to a general other doctors like physician or counselors or whoever. Counseling at least is a bit better, but to other doctors when they go, usually they'll go to cardiologists, gastroenterologists and general physicians, because the symptoms mimic other disorders also. And they will also tell, you don't have any problem, you're just taking tension. Don't take tension, don't worry about these things. If a depressed person cannot worry about things, they would. I think that is a very important thing that everybody needs to understand. It is not like, your temperature is there, you make it down, it's nothing, you can make it down yourself. That's not, it is like saying that when you ask a patient who's suffering from depression not to worry, not to feel sad. So when that happens, again they get discouraged of not taking help. Usually when we get patients, they'll come with such a big file, going to all other doctors, and then finally telling, what, this is the problem, I need to see a psychiatrist. So don't wait that long. Early diagnosis, early treatment will definitely help you better. One single episode of depression will require maybe like 6 to 9 months of medication and treatment. Because if that is delayed, then by the time you come, by the time we actually sort out through all the medications and then sort out your life and everything, it's going to be a longer journey than if you come earlier. So if anybody around you is suffering, please encourage them to take help.